What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hammerstang and today is my review here of the OPPO Reno 12, a phone that I've been using for a few weeks already, and I do want to share with you my thoughts and my opinion before you make your purchase decision. And I always like to break it down into four main segments over here just to give you guys a more brief overview of how this phone has been for me for the past few weeks. So yes, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Okay, so first things first, let's start off with the price of the OPPO Reno 12. So here in Malaysia, it does go for about 21.99 ringgit Malaysia, which would place it at about the $400 and $500 mark. So it is firmly in the mid-range market over here. And now let's just get into the first segment. So the first segment that I do want to talk about here is, of course, the holding experience. I'm going to go through the build, design, material, just basically how the phone would feel in your hand on a daily basis. And what I can say about this is that it feels pretty alright. That's what she said. So the first thing you'll notice is, of course, the plastic on the back over here, which would give it more of a cheap feeling compared to a glass back. Because normally at this price point, you can get a glass back, but we do have a plastic over here. But not to worry about it too much, because I do like the design on this. It's very simple, very minimalistic. So over here on the back here, there's no fancy colors, no fancy shine to it. It does give you a nice matte finish, so you're not going to attract a lot of fingerprints on the back. And it does have a nice texture to it to give a little bit more grip in case if you guys do not want to use a phone case with this. And of course, it is a very minimalistic design, so it's not too standout compared to many other phones, which would be alright. And of course, what I like about this is that again, it is a very clean design, so you don't have to worry on the back over here collecting all your smudges or making it look a little bit too cheap. For me, to be honest, the design is really nice. And of course, we have your Gorilla Glass Victus on the front here to give more protection, so you don't have to worry about when you're dropping this phone. And it does give you your nice aluminium frames on the sides here overall. So overall, it's not too bad. I do like the curves on the sides over here. This phone is pretty slim over here. Some people might like it, some people might not. I do like a little bit more some thickness on the sides here to give me a little bit more assurity when I'm holding this phone. I'm not sure whether that's an exact word. And of course, when it comes to the front display over here, it does have a futuristic design because it is curved on the front display. So it does give you that futuristic design. And in terms of the minimal touches over here, I would say that the bezels on it is actually really nice. I didn't get a lot of accidental touches on this, so it's all pretty decent. So for that, I would say that the holding experience on this, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. Okay, so moving on now, let's talk about the viewing experience on this phone. So basically, I'm going to cover the display, the speakers, and also the haptics on this phone. In terms of the haptics, I actually find it really nice in terms of gaming sessions, or if you want to use your back button or whatsoever. It does give you that subtle approach and subtle haptics on this, which does give you more of a premium feel, which I really do like. So over here, the motor on this is actually really decent. And going on to the speakers of this is something I was always hoping for ever since the OPPO Reno 8 or 9, even up to until the 11 series. So normally I would always get a mono fine speaker, but it's of course a really good pleasure over here to get a stereo speaker setup with a OPPO Reno 12 over here, because we have an amazing display, which I will talk about in a little bit. But of course, you want to enjoy your content, and even at this price point, you would expect a stereo speaker setup, and that's what you're going to get here with the Reno 12. So the speakers, I wouldn't say sounds the best. It isn't the crispiest or the loudest, but it definitely gets the job done, especially when you want to watch your shows. You get your stereo speaker surround sound, and of course, I really like it when I'm watching my shows. Of course, when we talk about the display over here, as you would expect with the Reno 12, it gives you a very good AMOLED display. Of course, you have your 1 billion colors, you have your AMOLED panel, and all that good stuff which you would expect on a mid-range phone. So over here, watching again content and going through your social media is actually really nice. I do like the large display that we have here with the Reno 12 as well, so you don't have to worry about it. But one thing I want to talk about here, which is something you don't really find on many other phones, and that is of course the Aqua Touch technology over here. So over here, they have actually calibrated the display over here to kind of maximize your touch, where even when you have some water droplets on your phone here. Because here in Malaysia, we get a lot of tropical weather, we get some rain here and there. If you want to bring it to your sport, sometimes you will get some sweat on it, or you're just gonna get some water when you're going out on your display over here. And what I like about this is that it's still very usable. And in case if you want to scroll through and sometimes you're in a hurry and you don't have time to wipe your phone because maybe your shirt is all wet or whatsoever, you can still use this phone, which is really nice. And of course, you can still go through your normal stuff, like you want to type out your phone numbers, you want to go through your contact list or your social media or whatsoever. It still works really good. So overall, I would say that the viewing experience on this is really nice, and I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. Okay, so next up here, let's talk about the user experience. So basically, I'm going to cover the hardware and of course the software side of things. So hardware wise isn't too bad. I haven't had a lot of stutters or lags with this phone. When it comes to heating as well, it's quite minimal with my kind of moderate gaming. Of course, I'm not a heavy gamer, so I'm not very familiar when you go into Genshin Impact or PUBG Mobile and maximum settings and how it will go. For my limited time of usage over here, it actually works really nice. When I'm going through my multitasking and going through the battery life on this as well, it works really nice. The MediaTek Dimensity chip on this is actually very decent. It's able to do a lot of your tasks and go through most of your everyday usage without much of a fuss. When it comes to the battery and charging on this, again, it's very nice. Huge battery over here to give me a full day of usage. And of course, if you want to pop it up, you can just use the 80-watt SuperVOOC charger on this to boost it up to about 100%, no much hassle whatsoever. Of course, when we talk about the software, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because this is a mid-range phone, so it does come with a little bit more bloatware than your kind of flagship phone. So over here, of course, you have to take some time to uninstall certain apps and do certain things, but overall, the software experience on this, I would say, is really nice, very polished, and it does give you a lot of cool features. And of course, we do have the AI features here as well. So if you want to use it for your cameras or you want to use it as a phone as well, we have some cool AI features, like of course removing certain objects or certain people, which is of course really helpful. And of course, if you do have that call feature on this, again, it's just really nice, because sometimes I may be using this as a secondary phone, or maybe you want to use it as a secondary phone and you want to make some emergency calls and you don't have a SIM card on this, you can still make some calls on this, which is really decent. Not the most reliable, but it's still a very good smart technology they have implemented with the OPPO Reno 12 series. So that, of course, I'm really impressed. And for this, the user experience on this, I will give it a solid 8 out of 10. Alright, so last but not least, let's talk about the cameras that does come with this phone. So over here, it's packed with what you expect with a normal phone in 2024. We have your triple camera setup on the back, we have a good selfie shooter on the front. The only thing that is of course missing here is the ability to record at about 4K at 60 FPS. But of course, that is of course maybe due to the chipset or whatsoever. Of course, if you're taking shots with plenty of daylight, you don't have to worry about it. First, you're taking some shots with some selfie or some portraits. Again, it does give you pretty good images and it does give you sharp and detailed shots. Of course, you have to, for me personally, I always like to tone down the effects over here, but you still get a little bit of some smoothing, some kind of hyper kind of editing when it comes to your shots over here, which is quite common when it comes to China phones overall. When it comes to night mode as well, it's actually pretty decent. It does get the job done, and even in another extreme dark conditions, it still gives you very good images, which is something I do like on this. So it's quite versatile in terms of the camera setup over here. It does give you your ultra wide, it does give you your main lens and all this good stuff, but I wouldn't say it's the best, because again, you're only paying the mid-range price on this. So overall, it's still very decent. And for this, the camera experience I will give it is a solid 7 out of 10. Right, so that is it with the OPPO Reno 12. That is of course my thoughts and my opinions. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. For me personally, I would say at this price point, it's actually really good. And of course, if you guys are into the whole OPPO ecosystem, this is a really great phone to get. It is of course an upgrade compared to the Reno 11 and below. One thing, because I really like the speakers on this, it's not the best, but it does give you the stereo speaker setup. You still have an amazing display, a great chipset, and some good decent cameras overall. So yes, it's actually really recommended at this price point, because like I mentioned always before, these are just my thoughts, my opinions. Leave yours in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, do click the like and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.